What's up, guys? Welcome to Fight Night. Coming up, flying triangles. No, not this kind. This kind. That was tight. But first, I will be taking on not one, but 2 brown belts. All that and more coming up in this episode of Jedi's Fight Night. What's up, guys? It's a Friday, so you already know we're about to do some no-gi. But first, I've got to get me some energizement. I don't know if that's a word, but it is now. And you know, on this channel, we're all about that. Instant coffee. I'm gonna take a sip of that. Psych. I'm taking this channel off the instant coffee standard, just like our boy Dick took us off the gold standard. We got a new upgraded coffee maker. Let's go check it out and make ourselves a glass of Joe. That's right, guys. All the jabs you've been taking at me in the comments for the past couple months have finally gotten me to get up off my ass and upgrade my coffee game. So if anybody tells you that bullying doesn't work, they're wrong. That was a joke, by the way. YouTube, don't demonetize this video, please. So please, stop making fun of me in the comments. All right, let's head to Jiu-Jitsu. What's up, guys? For this first round, I will be taking on our brown belt friend, Curtis Blades. Get it? Because he shaves his head. Hailing from parts unknown, he likes to play around with a butterfly schmutterfly guard. And he's got some decent scrambling, so let us see what happens.
Round 1, fight!
Once we start rolling, he grabs my neck and looks to cut through my legs for a guard pass. So I pummel my butterfly hooks in between his legs, shutting that down, so he decides to get out. As he re-engages by trying to sidestep my guard, I grab his ankle, putting him in this weird De La Hiva-like guard. I then pummel my right leg in, looking to take his back, but he rolls forward, so I come up, getting the sweep. As I look to sidestep his guard for knee on belly, he turns into me hard, so I look to circle to his back, but he rolls in, sitting into guard. I immediately pass to the other side, though. But we got some big boys that almost crash into us, so we decide to pick it up and restart somewhere else. Once we restart, I grab his hip and knee, sidestep his guard for knee on belly. As he tries to turn away from me, I grab his hip and yank him back down to the mats. I then get up to my feet, driving my knees into him, looking to isolate one of his arms, but he turns into me hard, so I go for a front headlock. He continues to turn into me, going into turtle, so I switch my grips, looking to yank him down for a darce. He flattens out hard to defend it, so I switch my grip again and step over his head, looking for the Peruvian necktie. Here he's fighting really hard to peel my grips apart, but I'm able to lock them down tight and throw my other leg over, sitting back and finishing the choke. We slap and bump, and he immediately grabs double underhooks, looking to pull me into his guard, throws his leg over, but then I step over his bottom leg, passing it into half guard. From here, I get up on my toes, driving my way into him and pulling my knee out of his half guard. Using my right arm, I grab his shoulder, making him turn to his side, and then slide my top knee up and sit in, exposing his back. From here, he's doing a good job of shelling up and keeping me from throwing my other hook in until he opens up his left elbow, giving me the space that I want. No, giving me the space that I need to take his back. With cross grips on both of his wrists, I throw my left leg over his shoulder and then switch my hips, dumping him over to the other side, allowing me to lock up the triangle off of the back. And if you can't get the choke, don't worry, there's always a nice shoulder lock since his arm is isolated so much from his body. Alright, and what's it saying again? Slappy, bumpy, and simulate murder. And here he makes the mistake of giving me his arm while he's on his knees inside my butterfly guard. I look to go for an arm drag, so he steps up to counter that, so I just ankle pick him, getting the sweep. I instantly backstep into side control and slide my knee over, going into full mount. I then pummel both my arms underneath his for double underhooks from mounts to keep him from framing and shelling up. But as I look to step over his head for the arm bar, he's able to pull his elbows to the mats, forcing me to bail and putting me in his guard. So I straight arm his armpits, using that to get up to my feet. He opens his guard, so I grab his left leg and fall back down, looking for a leg lock. Now yes, this is an example of bad strategic jiu-jitsu. I would not do this in a tournament. However, we're training. You gotta have a little fun every now and then. I decide to bail on the footlock and pop up, but as he grabs my head, I flop by his legs, legs going into side control. Here he turns to his side looking to frame and retain guard. So I use my hand to hook his elbow. I then frame on his head, bring my left knee behind his back and throw my right leg over his head looking for the armbar. From here, you already know it. I'm going for the figure 4 finish because why the heck not? Another one. Slap, bump, and go again. Here he double underhooks, elevates me with his butterfly hooks and drops me into his closed guard, going for the 10th planet move. I like it. I then decide I'm gonna go for something a little funky, a little unorthodox. I drive my head into his chin with a right underhook. I then block his right arm, keeping it out of play, walk to my side. This exposes his ankles, which allows me to switch my hips, step over, and push his knee through, stepping over into half guard. I then get up on my toes, driving my way into him and slide my instep over his hips, looking to pull my leg out, but then decide I'm gonna double down on this funky line of moves. I pull myself back, letting him underhook me. I then grab his head and backstep, bringing my left knee behind his left leg, figure 4ing my legs to trap his legs in the honey hole. From here, I weave his calves like a pretzel, underhook his top leg, and pull it into his bottom leg, getting the tap. Alright guys, you already know it's time for Move of the Week! On the docket today, we will be breaking down the Uchimata, or in plain English, the hip toss, kicking up the middle. This is one of the only judo takedowns that I can hit somewhat reliably. I like to set it up from the overhook, although if you're more of an underhook person, that's cool too. Do whatever the heck you want to do. What you're going to do is step close to them with your balanced leg as you pull forward with your overhook and kick up with your kick leg. Now if you have talked to any judo players about this, they will probably have told you before that you want to act like you're falling forward, as this will make the hip toss a lot more nasty. And if you grab the tricep, that'll make it a lot harder for them to base out and fight the throw. As you see on my first attempt, I do not, which allows him to post out and scramble, patamble, garamble, mamamble, and get out of my throw. Or if they post out, you can also sequence this into a sweet old flying triangle, baby. What's up with that? Be sure to smash this and hit that for some more awesome tips. Alright guys, next up on the docket we have the homie Armin. You guys have seen him before. Thick thunder thighs, insane cardio, and a nasty open guard. So frustrating, man. Let's get after it.
Round 2. Fight.
As soon as we start, I jump into things by grabbing his head from his guard and looking for a choke. This is definitely technically sound. I'm not sure why it didn't work here. I then decide to go for an Americana, but he pulls his elbow out and escapes it. Man, this guy must be cheating. That should have worked. Here I go for the classic straight arm stand-up guard break. He opens his guard and goes into De La Hiva, so I turn my knee to the right to take away his angle of attack. I then pummel my right arm under his leg and change my levels, looking for an over-under pass, but he frames on my neck, preventing me from finishing. So I sequence into the double underhook pass, but as I try to walk into him and complete, he's able to walk his shoulders back, pulling his legs in front of me. So I grab his hip and his knee and look to sidestep his guard, but he's just giving me a rough time. One thing he's doing well here is keeping his knees close to his body and using his arms real well to keep distance. Here he goes for a 2-on-1 grip on my left wrist. As I try to fight it, he adjusts his hips and pummels his right shin in front of mine, looking to kick me up into single leg X, so I run out of there and step out. As I step back to re-engage, I push him down on the mat and grab his ankles, looking to stack into him, but he pushes on my knee and barely walks back on his shoulders enough to get out of there. So I grab both of his legs, sidestepping his guard, looking for knee on belly, but he's looking to hip into me, so I circle to north-south and drive my head into his hips. But as I circle to my left, he's able to grab my legs with his, putting me in his half guard. From here, I pummel my right elbow in front of his body, looking for a crossface, but as I do, he's able to frame on me and retain guard. Since his bottom leg is caught between my knees, I underhook his top leg and look for an over-under pass, but he still has pretty solid frames here, which he uses to hip out and throw his left leg over. From here, he's trying to clamp down on my leg and look for a knee bar, so I turn my knee to the right, taking away the knee bar. He's threatening with a straight ankle though, but I'm able to push out and get out of the attempt. I grab his top leg and step on his bottom, shuck it by, and sloppily kind of dig my way into side control. He's trying real hard to frame and get his bottom knee back in for guard, so I hook his top leg, trying to flatten him out on the mat, and then I circle towards his head, looking for north-south. And if you guys have seen Armin before, you know he's got a ridiculously hard guard to pass, so I feel like I should get a $5 medal or something out of this. Here I know the timer is about up, so I try to step over into mounts, but he's able to lock my leg down in his half guard, so I send it Sally rolling forward for a twister roll, trying to take his back right as the timer goes off. Alright, and the moment you have all been waiting for, my final round with the scrambler pedambler himself, Senor Alex. Now he's smaller than me, I outweigh him by about 20 pounds. He's a thin guy, but do not let that fool you. He is strong as shit. And boy, he's been getting good at a surprisingly scary rate. Actually, I'm gonna leave a petition down in the comments. If you guys could sign that to get him to only train once a month, that would be awesome. Anyways, let's cut to the chase and roll with this scrambling madman.
Final round. Fight!
As soon as the round starts, I open my guard and kick him away. This move allows me to play open guard, which I prefer to close guard. He grabs my leg looking to set up an attack, but I pull it out and he doesn't really push the issue. And here I'm leaning forward, which makes it harder for him to grab my legs and start stacking me. This also allows me to go for things like shots and arm drags easier. So far, he's being patient, keeping his head and his hands low to protect his hips. However, he is standing up a little tall, which I can exploit in the future. And sure enough, I slide my hips in, hook his leg with my arm, and stand up for a single leg. But as I do, he grabs my head and throws his right leg over my shoulder looking for a flying triangle. And I just want to take a second to respect the cojones on this move. I'm standing tall hoping he'll give me a little bit of space to pull out, but homeboy's got some wiry legs and the choke's getting a little tight, so I drop to my knees so that I don't risk losing my balance and dropping him on his head. He doesn't have the full triangle position locked up with his legs, but this is not at all a chill position to hang out. Here he grabs my head and he's really starting to get heavy. I'm about to fall down, so I decide to sit to my butt. This helps me carry his weight a little easier. Here my energy levels are slowly but surely diminishing, so instead of letting him sweep me to a mounted triangle, I go to my knees, putting him on his back. As I do, he locks up the full triangle. This is an extremely bad position for me to be in. I'm trying to pull my head off the center line to give myself a little bit of breathing space. I then drop to my knee and posture up, looking up at the ceiling, and by some miracle, I'm able to throw my legs over his chest, giving me space to pull my head out and break the triangle. I then hook his leg and throw my legs over, hipping in for the knee bar finish. Now I'm gonna be real for a second. I outweigh Alex by about 20 pounds, and if we were similar sizes, he probably would have finished that triangle. Slap, bump, I open my guard, going for open guard because who likes close guard? But oh no, he grabs my ankles and stacking me, so I roll over my shoulders into turtle to keep him from passing my guard. He tries to hook my right arm for a crucifix, so I step over his left leg and trip him over, putting him on his back. I'm grabbing both his legs and walking my shoulders on top of him, flattening him on the mat until I have enough space to turn into him. I then grab his hip and slide my knee through into full mount. As I'm looking to isolate his left arm and look for an arm triangle, the timer goes off. Alright players, time for DM of the week. Today's question comes from our boy, Mohammed Mendel. Hey Jedi, love your videos. They are helping me a lot in training. Do you keep a journey? I think you mean journal. Or a record about your progress and what needs improvement? How should we make one? Thanks. So actually, I don't think that keeping a journal is that necessary. Obviously, you ask 50 different people,
You're probably gonna get 50 different answers.
I'll just answer from my own experience. I am not the biggest journaler. I feel like you can get just as much benefit by putting in the mental reps and thinking about where you're getting caught, what your most common sticking points are. If you have some idea of how to address those, go for it, or obviously ask one of the upper belts or your coach to see what they think and run with that. Thank you for the question. If you have a question that you want to ask, slide into those DMs, Jedi_ himself. I'll link that down below. I'll pick one of your questions to answer in the next video. Alright guys, that's all for the video. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm. If you guys are new around here, my name's Jedi. I make the best gosh darn videos on all of YouTube, so be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my videos. I will talk to you guys in the next video. Remember, stay consistent and have fun. Bye.